There is a profound power in detachment, not in coldness, not in apathy, but in the confident grace of a woman who understands her worth and does not cling. Too often, we confuse attention with affection, presence with power. Yet, the truth is that men are drawn not to desperation, but to the quiet strength of a woman who values herself above the approval of others. When a woman detaches, she does not withdraw her love entirely, rather she rises above the need to control, the need to please, and the need to be needed. She becomes untouchable by games, immune to manipulation, and irresistible in her independence. This detachment is not a rejection of connection, it is the embrace of self-respect. Men are instinctively attracted to confidence. They are drawn to mystery, to a presence that does not bend under pressure. When a woman detaches, she signals that her life, her happiness, and her purpose are not dependent on anyone else. She is a force, not a function. And this alone awakens respect, admiration, and desire. Detachment teaches a man to value her, to earn her attention rather than assume it. It shifts the dynamic, transforming the relationship from one of dependency to one of mutual respect. And in this space, a man sees a woman not as someone to possess, but as someone extraordinary, someone worth pursuing with authenticity and honor. The power of a woman who detaches is subtle yet unstoppable. She does not chase, she does not plead. She simply lives fully, unapologetically, and abundantly. And in doing so, she awakens a profound magnetism that no man can resist, not because of manipulation, but because of her undeniable, radiant self-mastery. When a woman learns the art of detachment, she does not lose men, she attracts them in ways that are deeper, stronger, and more meaningful than any effort of clinging ever could. Detachment is not absence, it is presence elevated, presence that commands respect, presence that inspires love. And this, my friends, is the true power of a woman who has mastered herself. Detachment is often misunderstood. Many believe it to be coldness, indifference, or even a lack of care. But true detachment is far from that. It is the conscious choice to place your value, your identity, and your happiness within yourself rather than in the hands of someone else. A woman who detaches does not withdraw love or affection. She simply refuses to allow her peace, her confidence, and her purpose to be dictated by the actions, moods, or approval of another person. This is power, the kind of power that cannot be forced, bargained for, or faked. It is earned internally and radiates externally, creating a magnetic presence that draws respect, admiration, and desire. When a woman detaches, she is no longer entangled in the need to control outcomes. She no longer chases attention or validation. She no longer sacrifices her dignity in an attempt to secure love that may be conditional or fleeting. Instead, she becomes centered in her own life, focused on her goals, passions, and growth. This creates an invisible strength, a presence that commands attention without demanding it. Power is not loud, it is quiet, confident, and unshakable. Men, whether consciously or subconsciously, recognize this. They are drawn to it because it is rare, authentic, and fundamentally different from the familiar patterns of neediness and dependency that they encounter elsewhere. Detachment is not a weapon, nor is it a game. It is an alignment with self-respect and personal boundaries. A woman who detaches understands that her energy is precious, that her emotions are valuable, and that her life cannot revolve around the whims of another. She does not tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or inconsistency, not because she is unforgiving, but because she knows her worth. This clarity is intoxicating. Men feel it immediately. It is a signal that she is not available for exploitation, that she has standards, and that she commands integrity in the relationships she chooses to invest in. Furthermore, detachment cultivates inner peace. When a woman stops clinging to outcomes or seeking approval, she experiences freedom, the freedom to love fully without fear, to engage without desperation, and to live without compromise. This freedom is inherently attractive. It demonstrates that she is complete in herself and invites men to meet her in that completeness, rather than trying to fill a void or escape insecurity. A man who is drawn to this energy is not drawn to control her. He is drawn to contribute to a relationship that is already whole. This is a fundamentally different dynamic. And it is where lasting respect and attraction are born. Detachment also teaches a powerful lesson. The harder something is to obtain, the more value it carries. When a woman detaches, she does not disappear entirely, but she establishes boundaries that require a man to show commitment, effort, and authenticity. He must earn her attention, earn her trust, and demonstrate that he is worthy of her presence. This is not manipulation, it is natural law. People naturally gravitate toward that which they respect and that which they must pursue with integrity. Detachment transforms the dynamic from one of entitlement to one of reverence. In doing so, it elevates the relationship to a higher plane of mutual respect. Ultimately, detachment is power because it allows a woman to remain in control of herself while inviting meaningful connection. It signals strength, self-awareness, and unwavering confidence. A woman who detaches does not chase, she does not plead, and she does not compromise her essence. She stands firm in her identity, and in that stance, she becomes irresistible. Power is not in control over others. Power is in mastery over oneself. And detachment is the gateway to that mastery. When a woman detaches, she does not lose influence. She gains the kind of power that commands attention, evokes desire, and fosters relationships built on respect, authenticity, and profound attraction. If you want, I can also expand the second key point, confidence attracts, into 600 words in the same style, so you'll have a full set ready for a speech series. Confidence is one of the most powerful forces a woman can possess. It is a magnet, a silent signal, a language that speaks without words. Confidence is not arrogance, nor is it the loud proclamation of superiority. It is the deep, unshakable knowledge of one's own worth, the calm assurance that one's value does not depend on external validation. A woman who carries herself with confidence radiates a light that draws people in, naturally inspiring admiration and respect. Men, whether consciously or subconsciously, are instinctively drawn to confidence because it represents stability, strength, and authenticity, the very qualities that are the foundation of desire. When a woman is confident, she is untethered by fear, doubt, or insecurity. She does not cling, she does not plead, and she does not compromise her principles to gain approval. Her sense of self is complete. And this completeness is evident in everything she does, from the way she walks into a room, to the way she speaks, to the way she sets boundaries. Confidence communicates that she is not desperate for attention, love, or validation. And paradoxically, this absence of neediness draws people toward her. Men are naturally attracted to a woman who stands firmly in her own identity because they recognize that she is not dependent on them for her happiness. Yet she has the capacity to share that happiness authentically. Confidence also fosters clarity. A confident woman knows what she wants, what she will accept, and what she will refuse. She does not allow confusion, uncertainty, or insecurity to dictate her relationships. She moves with purpose, making choices that align with her values, goals, and vision for her life. This decisiveness is magnetic because it communicates strength and integrity. A man who encounters such clarity understands that she is a person of substance, someone whose time, energy, and affection are valuable and must be respected. Confidence, therefore, is not only attractive, it commands respect. Moreover, confidence inspires a sense of security. When a woman is confident, she is not seeking to be fixed, rescued, or validated by others. She is self-sufficient emotionally, mentally, and often materially. This self-sufficiency is attractive because it creates a space where a man can engage freely without the pressure of being responsible for her happiness. He can connect with her, appreciate her, and grow alongside her, rather than feeling burdened by unmet needs or insecurity. Confidence invites healthy dynamics, relationships built on mutual respect and shared purpose rather than neediness and imbalance. Confidence also communicates authenticity. A woman who is secure in herself does not pretend to be someone she is not. She is not performing for approval or trying to manipulate perception. She shows up fully, honestly, and unapologetically. Men are drawn to authenticity because it is rare. It represents honesty, integrity, and the courage to be oneself despite societal pressures or fear of judgment. A confident woman's authenticity is a powerful form of attraction. It signals that she is real, grounded, and capable of genuine connection. Finally, confidence amplifies all other qualities. When a woman detaches, sets boundaries, and lives independently, her confidence magnifies the effect. It transforms presence into magnetism, independence into allure, and self-respect into irresistible attraction. Confidence is not just an attribute. It is a way of life, a force that shapes interactions, relationships, and ultimately destiny. Men cannot resist a woman who is confident because she embodies strength, grace, and authenticity all at once. She is a living example of the power that comes from mastering oneself. In her presence, others are drawn not because they seek to control her, but because they recognize her extraordinary value. In truth, confidence is the foundation of attraction. It is the silent force that creates respect, admiration, and desire. A woman who knows her worth does not chase, she attracts. And this attraction is profound, magnetic, and enduring because it flows naturally from the power of self-belief, self-respect, and unwavering confidence. If you want, I can now expand the third key point mystery and respect into 600 words so you can continue building your full speech series. There is a unique and undeniable power in mystery. Mystery is not secrecy for the sake of deception, nor is it manipulation. It is the natural result of self-possession, independence, and a life lived with purpose. A woman who embraces mystery does not lay all of herself bare to the world. She does not reveal her every thought, every feeling, or every desire at the first opportunity. Instead, she allows herself to be experienced gradually, layer by layer, creating a sense of intrigue that captivates and commands attention. This quality is magnetic because humans are naturally drawn to what is not immediately understood or fully accessible. Mystery invites pursuit, reflection, and respect, and is an essential element of lasting attraction. Respect is closely tied to mystery. A woman who maintains her own boundaries and does not make herself overly available teaches others how to value her. When a man encounters a woman who has cultivated a sense of mystery, he instinctively senses that she has her own world, her own priorities, and her own standards. He understands that she is not defined by his presence or his approval. This recognition fosters respect, because respect always arises in response to value. People respect what is rare, what is autonomous, and what cannot be taken for granted. A woman who moves through life with dignity, maintaining her sense of self-worth, remaining approachable and warm, naturally commands both intrigue and admiration. Mystery also enhances emotional engagement. When a woman does not reveal everything about herself immediately, a man is invited to invest effort, attention, and genuine interest in getting to know her. He must approach the relationship with intention, curiosity, and patience. This dynamic encourages authentic connection rather than superficial attachment. Men are drawn to the challenge of understanding her fully, not as a conquest, but as a journey of discovery. The more she cultivates her inner world, her ambitions, her passions, and her depth, the more magnetic she becomes. Mystery is not manipulation. It is the natural consequence of living a full, independent, and purposeful life. And it is deeply compelling. Furthermore, mystery communicates self-respect. A woman who does not over-explain herself, who does not seek constant validation, and who does not overshare her vulnerabilities demonstrates that she is in control of her own narrative. She is not desperate for approval, and she does not allow others to dictate her sense of worth. This self-respect is immediately recognizable and profoundly attractive. It sends a silent message. She is not to be taken lightly. She is not disposable, and she expects to be treated with integrity. Men are drawn to women who maintain this standard because respect is inseparable from attraction. Mystery also creates space for growth and intrigue within relationships. When a woman maintains aspects of her individuality, her dreams, and her ambition, she ensures that the relationship remains dynamic rather than stagnant. She is not fully predictable, and this unpredictability keeps engagement alive. A man is inspired to match her energy, to rise to her standards, and to honor her presence. This interaction fosters deeper admiration, loyalty, and emotional connection. Mystery is, in essence, a tool for cultivating meaningful, respectful relationships rather than superficial attachments. Ultimately, mystery and respect work together to create a magnetic presence. A woman who embodies both does not chase attention, she does not demand admiration, and she does not compromise her essence. Instead, she allows her life, her values, and her character to speak for her. This combination produces a profound effect. Men are naturally drawn to her, not out of necessity, but out of choice and genuine appreciation. Mystery invites curiosity, respect commands honor, and together they establish a foundation of attraction that is deep, enduring, and authentic. A woman who understands this principle is not simply desired, she is revered. If you like, I can next expand the fourth key point: independence inspires desire, into 600 words, so your series of expanded key points is complete. Independence is one of the most compelling qualities a woman can embody. It is not merely about financial stability or living alone. It is about owning your life, your choices, and your destiny. A woman who is independent is self-reliant emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. She does not require constant validation, approval, or attention from others to feel complete. This quality creates a powerful magnetism because it signals strength, confidence, and self-respect, qualities that naturally inspire desire. Men are drawn not to dependency or neediness, but to a woman who stands firmly her own identity and lives a life filled with purpose, passion, and autonomy. Independence is attractive because it creates balance in a relationship. A woman who is fully self-sufficient does not place the burden of her happiness, security, or emotional well-being on a man. She participates in a relationship out of choice, not necessity. This shift changes the dynamic entirely. Instead of a relationship built on obligation, guilt, or codependence, it becomes one built on mutual admiration, shared goals, and authentic connection. Men are inspired by women who can stand on their own, because independence communicates a level of maturity, strength, and inner discipline that is rare and profoundly appealing. A woman who cultivates her independence also inspires a sense of respect. She sets clear boundaries and does not compromise her values to appease others. She understands that her time, energy, and attention are precious, and she invests them wisely. This discernment signals to a man that she is worthy of effort, patience, and genuine commitment. The desire she evokes is not based on superficial attraction alone. It is rooted in the recognition of her integrity, her self-worth, and her unwavering dedication to living life on her own terms. Independence, therefore, is not only attractive, it is a declaration of value that commands honor. Independence also ignites curiosity and admiration. A woman who has her own ambitions, interests, and passions is inherently intriguing. She is not fully defined by the relationship, nor does she rely on it for identity. This presence inspires men to engage with her, to appreciate her journey, and to meet her in her completeness. They are drawn to the challenge of connecting with someone who has depth, purpose, and a life that is rich beyond the relationship itself. Her independence encourages him to grow, to elevate himself, and to contribute meaningfully, rather than take for granted her presence. Furthermore, independence fosters confidence, which amplifies attraction. A woman who is independent trusts herself, makes decisions with conviction, and navigates life with clarity. She does not hesitate to speak her mind, pursue her dreams, or set boundaries when necessary. This confidence is a natural extension of her independence, creating an aura of magnetism that is impossible to ignore. Men are drawn to women who inspire them to be better, not to chase them, and independence is the foundation of that inspiration. Ultimately, independence transforms desire from fleeting fascination to enduring admiration. It is not about creating distance or playing games. It is about embodying completeness. A woman who lives fully, maintains her individuality, and does not rely on others for validation inspired authentic desire, because she demonstrates what it means to be self-possessed, confident, and intentional. Desire flows naturally towards strength, purpose, and self-respect, and independence embodies all of these qualities. A woman who understands the power of independence does not merely attract attention. She inspires pursuit, admiration, and loyalty. Men are drawn not to what she can provide, but to who she is, a complete, empowered, and unstoppable force. Independence is not isolation, it is magnetism. It is a declaration that she is whole, worthy, and untouchable by neediness, and in that truth, she becomes irresistible. Healthy dynamics in a relationship are the foundation upon which lasting attraction, respect, and love are built. They are not born from desperation, manipulation, or the constant need for approval. They are cultivated through self-awareness, boundaries, and mutual respect. A woman who understands healthy dynamics knows that a fulfilling connection is not about control or possession, but about balance, reciprocity, and shared growth. When she approaches relationships with this understanding, she creates a space in which both partners can thrive, elevating desire and admiration naturally. Healthy dynamics begin with self-mastery. A woman who is aware of her own emotions, strengths, and weaknesses is not easily swayed by external circumstances or the unpredictable moods of others. She takes responsibility for her own happiness and does not rely on a partner to fill voids, fix problems, or validate her worth. This self-sufficiency is magnetic because it allows her to engage in a relationship as a whole person, not a dependent or incomplete one. Men are drawn to this completeness because it signals maturity, strength, and the ability to contribute meaningfully to the relationship rather than merely consuming or taking. Boundaries are another essential element of healthy dynamics. A woman who clearly defines what she will and will not tolerate communicates respect for herself and for the relationship. She does not compromise her values, her peace, or her dignity to avoid conflict or to gain approval. These boundaries create an invisible framework that protects her energy and fosters trust. Men respect what cannot be taken for granted, and boundaries naturally cultivate this respect. They signal that she is intentional in her choices, that her presence is valuable, and that genuine effort is required to maintain her connection. Healthy boundaries also prevent resentment, miscommunication, and emotional exhaustion, ensuring that interactions remain constructive rather than draining. Mutual respect is the lifeblood of healthy dynamics. A woman who practices respect both for herself and for others creates an environment in which admiration, trust, and loyalty flourish. She engages with honesty, integrity, and transparency, and she expects the same in return. This mutual respect eliminates the need for games, manipulation, or unhealthy power struggles, allowing attraction to develop naturally. Men are drawn to women who operate from this place of respect because it reflects strength, authenticity, and emotional intelligence, the qualities that form the foundation of deep connection and long-term compatibility. Healthy dynamics also involve emotional balance. A woman who maintains control over her emotional responses does not overreact, obsess, or allow insecurities to dictate her behavior. She navigates challenges with composure, communicates her needs clearly, and resolves conflicts with maturity. This emotional stability is profoundly attractive because it creates a sense of security and reliability in the relationship. Men feel drawn to a woman who can manage her emotions without drama because it allows them to engage fully without the weight of instability or unpredictability. Emotional balance transforms interactions into experiences of connection and growth rather than tension and exhaustion. Finally, healthy dynamics encourage growth for both partners. A woman who maintains her identity, ambitions, and standards within a relationship inspires a man to elevate himself. She does not settle for mediocrity, nor does she allow stagnation. Her independence, confidence, and clarity challenge those around her to rise to the occasion, creating a dynamic of mutual enrichment. Desire is no longer based solely on attraction or infatuation. It is rooted in admiration, respect, and shared purpose. A man who experiences this type of dynamic is compelled not just to pursue her, but to match her energy, values, and vision for life. Ultimately, healthy dynamics are a declaration of self-respect, mutual honor, and intentional connection. They transform relationships from dependency and imbalance into partnerships built on admiration, love, and authentic desire. A woman who understands and embodies these dynamics is not simply attractive, she is irresistible. She demonstrates that true connection thrives, not in neediness, control, or manipulation, but in balance, respect, and the willingness to engage with integrity. Healthy dynamics do not just attract men, they cultivate relationships that are enduring, meaningful, and deeply fulfilling.